All right, everyone, welcome to the Doctor of Pharmacy Program Overview for the Autumn 2027 start term. My name is Kristen Torrance. I am the Doctor of Pharmacy Recruitment and Admissions Specialist here with the College of Pharmacy at Ohio State University, and I'm going to be giving you an overview of the PharmD program and the admissions process for the program here at Ohio State. All right, so a couple things that we're going to be covering in the session. We're going to go into a overview of the PharmD program, so what the curriculum is structured like, how it changes year to year. We'll talk about opportunities for students here in the college, as well as some of the highlights, what makes us stand out at Ohio State. We'll discuss the application process for the PharmD program, the admissions timeline, all of those things to consider. We'll discuss financial aid and scholarships, looking forwards into the upcoming cycle. All right, so first we're going to be diving in here to our reputation at Ohio State. So we are currently ranked number 4 in the nation out of 142 pharmacy schools, according to the U.S. News and World Report. So we're very, very excited about that. We're doing a lot of awesome work here in the College of Pharmacy, a lot of research going on. We have faculty members really practicing at the top of their licenses here. So we're very, very excited. We have excellent student support resources with our Office of Student Success. We have tutoring available for students and some beautiful facilities as well in our building, which we'll talk about in a little bit more depth as we go on here. We're going to dive in some of our key outcomes as well for our students here, but we're very proud to be in the top 10. So graduation outcomes for the previous 5 years of graduating PharmD classes. So this is a 4-year long program. So graduating on time is graduating in the 4 years that it typically takes students. So our 4-year graduation rate, you can see for the previous 5 years listed, right at about 90%, give or take depending on the year. So majority of our students are graduating on time. This is not a program where once you're here, we're trying to weed you out. It's not designed to be intentionally tricky or trip you up, but it's really designed to help you succeed. We want you to succeed once you're here. We want to see you through to graduation, and we do provide you with the resources to be able to do so. So you see there's only a small number of students each year who are maybe delaying graduation, so they're graduating, but maybe they've taken an extra year. Maybe they're withdrawing, whether that's for a personal reason, an academic reason. Now, we do have a team of staff members in our Office of Student Success whose full-time job is really just to help students if they do find themselves struggling in a particular area of the program. We do try to have early interventions, so set students up with tutoring, resources, mental health support, if it's something along those lines, as well as coming up with a plan. So this next slide here, you see our pass rates for the pharmacy licensure exams. So once you complete the PharmD degree, you'll sit and take these 2 licensing exams, the NAPLEX and the NPJE. So for the previous 4 years of our pass rates here, you'll see 2 columns, the Ohio State column on the left. So all of our Ohio State PharmD graduates are passing average compared to the national passing average of all the accredited pharmacy programs. So you'll see for both of these exams, trends are mirrored. Our Ohio State graduates are passing on their first attempt at 90% roughly, give or take a couple of points depending on the year, compared to the national averages of all the pharmacy programs in the high 70s, low 80s, depending on the year. So all this is showing you here is that Ohio State is preparing its students quite well, better than average. For these licensing exams, we do have specific instruction time dedicated to helping prepare students. And these are important things to consider when deciding where to apply, where to attend pharmacy school. Of course, you want to take things into account like the location of the school, the cost of the school, does it feel like a good fit? But you also want to make sure that the institution you're picking is actually setting students up for success, that they actually have high graduation rates, high exam pass rates, because these are the things that are really going to be impactful when it comes to practicing pharmacy. All right, so discussing now the curriculum of our PharmD program. So how is this program laid out and structured? So covering the enrollment structure here, I mentioned in the beginning, it's a 4-year long program. So your first 3 years, you're only enrolled in the autumn and the spring semester. So you'll have your summer prior to each of the first 3 years off. Typically students, maybe they're going home, they're working over the summer, maybe an internship. It's not part of the program. You're only in courses, lab, and rotations in that autumn and spring semester. Now, your fourth year, that changes. The summer between your third and fourth year, you are going to be enrolled in the summer semester just to give you time to complete the rotations that you'll go on in that fourth final year, which we're going to discuss in a second here as well. Some of the basics of our I3 curriculum, Inquire, Innovate, Involve. So this curriculum here, it's structured in a module format. So what I mean by that is that instead of taking 4 or 5 classes each semester, and they're only a semester long, like is typical of undergraduates, you're going to be in one class at a time, called a module. And these modules, they vary in length. So the first module of your P1 year, it's going to be 4 weeks long, and that whole class is 4 weeks, and that's the only one that you're in. So Monday through Friday, you're only in the one class. You're not taking any other classes alongside it. At the end of those 4 weeks, you get a final grade. You've finished, you've completed the module. It's done, it's in the grade book. So then you're moving on to the next one. So your second module, P1 year, it's 5 weeks long. So again, same thing, you're only in that one class for those 5 weeks. You're not in any others. So again, at the end of that, you get your final grade, you're moving on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So this repeats for those first 3 years of the program. So these modules students report really, really liking because they're able to focus all of their mental energy just on the one class. They're not pulled in a bunch of different directions. They're actually absorbing the material, and they're also not having a week where they're getting hit with 5 different exams for 5 different classes in 1 week, but they know the exam schedule and it's just for that one module. So these modules, particularly your first year in the program, you're going to be in person for your lectures as well as in-class activities, so group work, applying the concepts you were learning in lecture, activities, things of that nature. Your second and your third year, we'll touch on this a little bit more in the next few slides here as well, but those modules are going to take a flipped classroom approach where maybe your lectures have transitioned to an online format, but you are still coming in person for in-class activities. So nothing will ever be fully online here, and especially in your first year, everything's going to be in person. So in addition to modules, you're going to be in lab once a week. So lab's going to be about 3 hours once a week. Your pharmacy skills laboratory, you're going to be doing a lot of fun things there. You'll be compounding, actually making medications. You'll be learning how to counsel patients, give immunizations, all sorts of excellent things. We have a wonderful lab staff and faculty there to help students. In addition to lab, you'll also be going on rotations. So this is our experiential learning piece where you're actually out in a real world pharmacy setting, putting into practice what you've been learning in the classroom, what you've been doing in lab. These rotations are going to start your very first year, but they'll start in the second semester. So you have that first semester to get acclimated to your modules in lab before starting rotations in the spring. Over the course of the 4-year program, these rotations actually account for 1/3 of the total curriculum. So a lot of time in our program is actually spent out at a real world pharmacy, getting real practice, hands-on experience, interacting with patients. In addition to the rotations, there's an interprofessional education component of our curriculum. So for the first 3 years, just a couple times each semester, you're going to be meeting with other healthcare profession students at Ohio State University. So you as a pharmacy student, you will be in a class with medical students, dentistry students, optometry students, veterinary medicine students. All of you together are going to be working alongside one another, given mock patient cases. So you'll be approaching these patient cases and coming up with treatment plans. So it really helps you appreciate the other perspectives and foster that sense of interprofessionalism. And electives are the last component. So over the 4 years, you'll be required to take 9 credit hours of electives. Typically, students will take these in that second and third year. We have a lot of great elective offerings, both within the College of Pharmacy, as well as external to the pharmacy college, but still at Ohio State University. So you have the ability to take electives at the College of Business if you're interested in maybe running your own pharmacy one day, or a foreign language elective if you want to brush up on those skills as well. So I want to show you what a typical week might look like as a first-year student. So you'll see here, we've got things on the calendar Monday through Friday. So you should expect to be in person in our building every day. Typically, instruction will start at 8:30 in the morning and go till, depending on the day, about 3:30, 4:30 p.m. Typically, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the heaviest days with your modules. There is something called professional hour, which is a break in your schedule every day. So Monday through Friday, from 11:30 in the morning till 12:30 in the afternoon. You have an hour-long break. So it's a lunch break, a study break. Students also use it for professional development activities. So maybe you're involved in a student organization here in the College of Pharmacy. Those generally meet during professional hour. So if you are involved in an org, it's really nice to be able to block that right into your schedule. So a little bit of a diagram here just to help you see what this first year looks like a bit better. So starting off your very first year, we have a 1-week long course at the very beginning of the program called Transitions. This is going to help you get acclimated to pharmacy school, to professional school, navigate the college, the university a bit before starting your academic modules in that second week, which is that 4-week long module. So you'll be in those modules starting in the second week. That is also when your lab is going to start. So these modules are going to advance. I mentioned that second module is 5 weeks long. The third module of P1 year, it's 13 weeks, so on and so forth. Lab is going to span the entire year as well. Those rotations are going to start in the spring of your first year. And that interprofessional education course, that's only going to meet a few times a semester. It's only a half credit hour class. So you're going to meet maybe 3 times in the autumn, 3 times in the spring. Finishing out the end of your first year, you're going to have Transitions 2, which is transitioning you out of P1 year, getting you prepared for that second year. There will be some program level assessments at the end of the year, as well as you're going to have a 1-week long immersive rotation. So your rotations that are going to start in the spring semester, they're going to be about 4 hours a week, nothing too intense, but then at the very end of P1 year, you're going to have 1 week where you're doing a 40-hour week. So these rotations in your first year are in a community or retail pharmacy setting. So you're going to be placed somewhere at a community pharmacy in Central Ohio. We actually have an office, our Office of Experiential Education, who coordinates all these rotations that students will go on P1 through P4 year. So they'll set you up with them. So these rotations are guaranteed to you. You don't have to stress about going and applying to a million different rotations, hoping you get them in time, but we're going to help coordinate these for you. So our office is going to set you up with these. They will take things into account like previous work experience. If you've been working as a pharm tech at CVS in undergrad, they're not going to place you at CVS P1 year. They want you to get a different experience. They're also going to take things into account like transportation needs. So if you don't have a car, they're not going to place you somewhere that you would need a car to get to. Moving on to P2 year, looks very similar to P1 year, so you're still going to be in those modules, which are in red in this diagram. You're still going to have lab once a week. Your IPI rotations you'll have in the autumn and in the spring. Those rotations are going to be in a hospital pharmacy setting. So you'll be at Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center. It's our big academic health center for medication reconciliation rotations in your second year, as well as you may be placed at another hospital around Central Ohio as well. We have partnerships and agreements for students to go on rotation at Nationwide Children's Hospital or Ohio Health's hospital systems, Mount Carmel's hospitals. So lots of options for you to get that experience here. You'll still be doing that interprofessional course just a few times a semester, and typically students will begin to take those electives in their second year. Moving on to the third year, looks pretty similar to the first two. You're going to be in modules again, one at a time, finishing up a lab. IPI rotations again, those introductory pharmacy practice experiences. This third year, you're going to be in an ambulatory care setting, so like an outpatient facility. Maybe that's through the Wexner Medical Center, maybe it's another location in Central Ohio. That interprofessional education course and finishing up electives. So at the very end of P3 year, this actually marks the end of all of your didactic courses. So P3 year is the last time you're going to have modules, the last time you'll be in lab, the last time you'll be doing that interprofessional education course. So you'll see we've got something called Transitions 3 at the very end of P3 year. This is now transitioning you out of that classroom work and transitioning you into your rotations that you're going to go on in your fourth year. So this is your fourth year of the program. So you are no longer in any more modules, no longer in lab. The only thing you're going to be doing this fourth year is your APPI rotations, advanced pharmacy practice experiences. So these rotations, you're going to be required to do 9. They're each 1 month or 4 weeks long, averaging about 40 hours a week. So out of the year, you're going to have 3 months off. you'll work with our Office of Experiential Education to decide what months you'd like to have off, as well as rank your preferences for rotations. So you're going to work with them to come up with a schedule that you like and that you're happy about. So you'll meet with that office midway through your third year to plan out your schedule for your fourth year. These rotations typically start in the summer immediately following P3 year. So you're finishing up P3 year at the end of April. Maybe your first rotation is going to be in May going into your fourth year. Maybe you've got May off, so it's not going to start till June. It's really up to you and our Office of Experiential. But you're going to be doing 9 rotations. You're going to be going back to some community sites, back to hospital, back to ambulatory care. And then you get to see the list of all of our available rotations and come up with where you want to be doing those other ones. Something to note is all of our APPE rotations for your fourth year are in the state of Ohio. So all of the ones that we have partnerships and agreements with our Office of Experiential are going to be in Ohio. Many, many, many are in Central Ohio. We do have some in the Cleveland area, Cincinnati area, Athens, Ohio, other parts of the state. So it's not necessarily only going to be Columbus-based. Now, if a student has an opportunity that maybe they've applied for externally, and maybe they get that and it's a summer-long experience, they want that to count for an APPE rotation, they can work with our office to make sure that that counts as one of the rotations. So sometimes we have students who are able to complete out-of-state opportunities, but those are really self-sought out. That's not going to be coordinated for you by our office. All right. So we're going to talk a bit more in depth now about our college, the College of Pharmacy. So the College of Pharmacy at Ohio State is one of the smallest colleges on campus. So we are a pretty large university. We have 66,000 students enrolled here between our undergraduates and our graduate and professional students. So it's very large. I always like to say that Ohio State feels like its own city. But the College of Pharmacy is one of the smallest colleges on campus. We just have the one professional program, one bachelor's degree program, master's degree program. So much, much smaller, and everything is housed in one building, Parks Hall. So Parks Hall is the home of the College of Pharmacy. So all of your courses, your lab, your modules, everything aside from rotations is going to be in Parks Hall. So as a PharmD student, you're not trekking all over Ohio State's big, large campus. You're really only coming to the College of Pharmacy each day. So that really does help students cultivate that stronger sense of community and togetherness. They get to know their peers, they get to know staff, faculty, seeing the same faces every day. Parks Hall is in the heart of Ohio State, so we are located in our main academic campus, right in Columbus, Ohio. We're actually right across the street from the Wexner Medical Center, or our medical center campus, so that's also very convenient. You walk out the doors to Parks Hall, across the street, 2 minutes, you're inside of the Wexner Medical Center. So for our students completing rotations at the WEX, that is really, really nice to have that right next door. So I mentioned that all of your doctor of pharmacy instruction is just in the one building in Parks Hall, makes it really convenient for students. Each incoming class of the PharmD program ranges from about 120 to 135 students. So that's the typical class size. So now that may sound large, but something to note is because our curriculum is set up in that module format, it's very lockstep. You advance through those modules one by one. All of our PharmD students, so each cohort, advances through those modules together at the same time. So you're all in the same class at the same time. So you're seeing the exact same faces every day that you're in the program. So lab sections are going to be divided up. You're not going to be with all 130 people in our lab in Parks Hall, but for your modules, you are going to be with all of the same folks every day. So you're definitely going to get to know the people around you. Students definitely report that each year they're in the program, it feels like it's shrinking because they're just recognizing more and more people, having relationships with more people. Those modules, generally, there is a big emphasis on group work. So you're going to be seated in teams of folks. So you're definitely going to get to know your peers. As well, we have a really large emphasis on the group study method here at Ohio State. So again, lots of opportunities for you to cultivate relationships with your peers. Some of the other amenities in Parks Hall, we have a really nice practice lab on the second floor of our building. We've got 40 workstations in there, so that's where our PharmD students will be having their lab. We've got 3 beautiful active learning style classrooms seating up to 150 students each, so that's where our PharmDs will be sat for their modules. These classrooms, we've got them fully equipped. There's screens everywhere, so anywhere you're seated in this large classroom space, you'll be able to see the lecture notes. Teachers will be walking around, offering help to students. There's microphones in these spaces, so you're going to be able to hear appropriately. All of the furniture is on wheels, so depending on what you're doing in class that day, if you're doing a special kind of in-class activities, something of that nature, things might be shifted up a bit. We have 11 patient counseling rooms as well in the College of Pharmacy. So this is where our PharmD students are going to be practicing those patient interactions. So we'll have mock patients come in, maybe it's faculty or staff or alumni come in, pretend to be patients, and our PharmD students will have to go through an interaction with them, like they're prescribing them medication, they're at the pharmacy and explaining that medication. Some other nice amenities, we have 2 student lounges here in the college. We actually just opened in November of 2025 a beautiful wing in our college, which is the addition of that second student lounge, as well as a second kitchenette area where students have fridges and microwaves to be able to store their lunch, heat that lunch up. We also have 8 private study rooms here in the college, which can be reserved. So each of those study rooms seats at least up to 8 students, if not the largest one pictured there, I believe seats 14. These study rooms have smart boards, so you can plug in your laptop, go through your notes, go through presentations. You can use it like a whiteboard, so very, very convenient. So just some additional photos here. We actually have a video tour of our college up on our website, so highly recommend checking that out if you're not able to come see our college in person. If you would like to come for an in-person visit, we do offer private tours led by our admissions staff, so you can follow that QR code to schedule a visit. There's also a link to book this available on our website. So the Wexner Medical Center, I've mentioned Ohio State's big academic health center a few times. So this is quite a few hospitals all intertwined here. We have the James Comprehensive Cancer Center, our General University Hospital, the Ross Hart Hospital, Brain and Spine Hospital, Davis Heart and Lung Research Institute, Harding Hospital. I must be forgetting a few. We have a lot of excellent practitioners, people really advanced in their fields practicing at the WEX here. So our PharmD students are really, really lucky and privileged to be in such close proximity and have a strong partnership with the WEX Medical Center. Our PharmDs will have a lot of opportunities for hands-on experience here. So whether that's through their IPPE rotations, every P2 student is going to be doing a med rec rotation here, whether it's coming back for an APPE rotation, if you're completing one of your 4th-year rotations at the WEX, maybe you're involved in the internship program. So outside of the curriculum, you've pursued an internship. We do have a large internship program at the Wexner Medical Center in a bunch of different areas related to pharmacy. Maybe you're participating in a research match program. We have the WEX has a pharmacy research program that they will match our PharmD students to. At the end of a student's first year, there'll be set information about that, and it's a really great opportunity if you want to get involved in research. We also have practitioners at the Wexner Medical Center who are also faculty and teach in the PharmD program. So they're bringing their real-world experiences, their patient cases directly into the classroom, and our students can learn from them that way. There are pharmacy residencies at the Wexner Medical Center. That is a separate program from the PharmD program. Not every PharmD student is going to go on to complete a residency. It's not a requirement to practice pharmacy, although it is often a good idea if you do want to be in a clinical setting, if you want to work in a hospital. So that's definitely something to consider. A lot of great career connections that students will be exposed to as well through the Wexner Medical Center, and a variety of specialties. So whether that's critical care, oncology, cardiology, administrative support, there's really so much more you can do here. And something that is really exciting is we had a new wing of the Wexner Medical Center open up in February of this past year, 2026. So this added 819 beds to the healthcare system here. So always growing, always expanding, really making a lot of great strides here. All right, so as a student in the PharmD program, what is the culture of our program? What is the feel? What are the resources available to you? So we have a large emphasis on outreach and engagement with the community around us, really giving back, serving underserved populations. There are opportunities for students to participate in community service activities like health screenings, volunteering at vaccination clinics, service learning trips, or community education programs. We actually had a team of students and some faculty members this past fall go down to some rural parts of Ohio, participate in these community education programs, just educating the public about medication safety, safe use, safe disposal, things of that nature. We really do believe that giving back to the community is essential to a good, well-rounded pharmacy education. This is really an important piece as, a patient-facing individual. It's really important to be engaged with the community around you. A strong emphasis on your well-being as a PharmD student. So we want you to succeed, but we also want you to thrive. So that includes, mental and emotional support. Ohio State University has their counseling and consultation services office, offering the ability for students to meet with a counselor, psychiatrist. Specific to the College of Pharmacy, we also have an embedded college psychologist, Dr. Sean Levstek, who's available to meet specifically with our pharmacy students. So that's really, really nice. Students have the ability to make an appointment with him, sometimes get in to see him a bit quicker than those wait times for the university services. We have a wellness officer, Dr. Emily Keeler, specific to the College of Pharmacy as well, who puts on a lot of great wellness programming, coming in to give students mints prior to exams, scheduling really great wellness activities during exam weeks, especially bringing in service dogs for students to pet, hosting hiking trips, all sorts of excellent things. We also have an embedded college career services office. So Angela Henderson and Grace Kuzmal, two full-time staff members whose entire role is just dedicated to connecting our PharmD students with career opportunities. We host a big College of Pharmacy career fair every spring and every autumn semester, inviting local employers, pharmacies to come in and speak with students about opportunities. So whether that's an internship or employment post-graduation. Career services will also help our PharmD students with their resume, their CV, updating those each year as they advance through the program, rewriting them. They'll help as well with mock interviews. So maybe you have an interview coming up for an internship, or you've applied to residency and you want to practice those residency interviews. You can schedule an appointment with our career services team, and they'll walk you through that and help you polish it. Our career services team will also help highlight opportunities that are available to you as a PharmD student. So we do have a really great reputation as a pharmacy school here in Ohio. So oftentimes employers will reach out to our college and say, hey, can you share this with your students? So career services is a great liaison for our PharmD students, connecting you to those each class. So each cohort, P1s, P2s, P3s, P4s, have a career services page where all of these opportunities relevant to that year are regularly updated and posted. And this is really tailored support for pharmacy students as well. So Ohio State does have its larger academic writing center or university career services, which are very, very helpful, but I think it's especially nice that we have a pharmacy-specific career services office as well. Mentorship and guidance opportunities abound in the PharmD program as well. So we do have a peer mentorship program. So every incoming first-year student during orientation week is going to meet their peer mentor. So everyone's going to be assigned a peer mentor. This peer mentor is an upper class PharmD student, so a P2 or a P3. You'll meet them during orientation week, and they are your point of contact, a support for you throughout that entire first year. So you'll be in a group with a couple of other incoming P1 students. You'll all have the same mentor. So that is a really great, fast and easy way to facilitate a sense of community in the program. Your peer mentor will coordinate things like group study sessions. They'll offer resources for navigating life in Columbus, life at Ohio State, navigating academics. They can be a great way to get connected with student organizations or research experiences in the College of Pharmacy. You're also going to be assigned a faculty advisor. Similarly, you're going to meet your faculty advisor during orientation week, coming in as a P1. This is a faculty member in the PharmD program, and they are your advisor for all 4 years that you're in the program. So they're a really fantastic resource as well, whether it's navigating just the academic pieces of the PharmD, other experiences in the College of Pharmacy, or even getting connected to the broader field of pharmacy. They may have connections in a specific area that you're really interested in. It can become mentorship relationship. So a lot of great things here. And all of these things start day one. You're meeting them at orientation week. Student organizations are a big part of the PharmD student experience. So these are organizations in the College of Pharmacy specific for PharmDs. So we actually have 19 of them this past year. So there's a lot to pick and choose from, and that's just for PharmD students. So there's a lot of different interests here. There's some broad ones like the American Pharmacist Student Organization. There are more niche organizations, so maybe pediatric pharmacy, industry pharmacy, oncology pharmacy. So depending on your interests, you can join a couple of them. Great way to broaden your horizons, see what else is out there. If somebody's involved in an area of pharmacy that you want to learn more about or figure out how they got there, they'll invite speakers to come in. There are service activities these orgs will go into the community and perform together, can really help with career development, networking, as well as leadership opportunities. So you can serve, maybe you want to be a chair of a committee, maybe you want to be on the executive board of these organizations. So these are really great things to get involved in as well. This is very optional, so you're not required to do this, but a lot of our PharmDs will take advantage of these opportunities. Combined degree offerings within the College of Pharmacy are a really great way to pursue another degree that you may be interested in while completing your PharmD in a shortened amount of time than if you were just going to complete each of them independently. So we have a combined PharmD PhD degree program in the College of Pharmacy. We have some information about this up on our website. You can follow that QR code to take you there. We have a combined PharmD and Master of Science in Translational Pharmacology. Up on our website, you can read more about that, as well as a PharmD MBA, Master of Business Administration. So these programs each have a little bit different timelines, so definitely want to encourage you to read through the information or reach out to our admissions team if you have additional questions. Zooming out from the College of Pharmacy, looking at Ohio State University at large, there's so much really that I could say about Ohio State. I mentioned before, it's a very large institution. Just some of the highlights here. We are a Big Ten school, so we're very, very crazy about our football especially. We do offer discounted football tickets for professional students, so that's you as a PharmD student. We have a lot of other exciting sporting events. We've got a really great men's basketball team, women's basketball team, hockey teams, volleyball. There's so much going on here. You can get free tickets actually to attend a lot of these sporting events on campus as well. We have 5 athletic facilities available for students, so that's included as part of your tuition. So you can swipe in with your student ID and go work out at any 5 of these. There's one called the Recreation and Physical Activity Center. It's very close to the College of Pharmacy. It's definitely my favorite. Beautiful space, beautiful space. We have a student wellness center inside of the RPAC, which offers things like financial counseling, help with budgeting, nutrition counseling, life coaching, wellness coaching, all sorts of great services available to you. And Ohio State also has its own transportation system. We have a bus system called the CABS, Campus Area Bus System, which is free for anyone to ride. A couple of different routes here. These buses may take you directly to an off-site parking lot into the heart of campus. Maybe they're taking you into the residential areas east of campus from north to south. It's a large campus, definitely very walkable. Sometimes these buses are very convenient on a rainy day. No extra cost to you. So there's an app, actually an Ohio State app, which will help track those bus routes, making it really easy to figure out when they're coming. That app is also an easy way to find parking availability, look at your schedule, look at your statement of account, all sorts of helpful things. So Columbus, Ohio, right where Ohio State is located, we're actually the 14th largest city in the United States, and we are among the fastest growing cities in the Midwest right now. So Columbus has been expanding rapidly. Our entertainment and lifestyle and dining scene here is quite good, I would say. This is not a city where you're going to be bored. Lots of options here. We have an outdoor shopping mall, Easton Town Center. We have the Columbus Zoo, just maybe 25 minutes north of campus. It's one of the most highly ranked zoos in the country. The Columbus Museum of Art. We have the Columbus Crew professional soccer team, the Columbus Blue Jackets professional ice hockey team. So definitely a lot to do here. We have a public transportation system, the CODA bus line, which is also free with your Ohio State student IDs. So you just swipe that and walk on. So it's very convenient as well. It's definitely a very drivable city. So absolutely many students bring cars if they have access to that. So It's definitely a great up-and-coming place to be. I mentioned before, there are a lot of hospitals as well situated in central Ohio, so really great place if you're interested in clinical pharmacy. All right, now we're going to pivot and discuss our application and admissions process. So to apply to the Doctor of Pharmacy program, you're going to apply online using a service called PharmCAS, the Pharmacy College Application Service. So I believe all but maybe 2 pharmacy schools in the nation, so over 100 pharmacy schools are all on PharmCAS. So this is like a common application that you'll start that application, you'll create your account. There are going to be some things that PharmCAS is going to ask as part of that common application. You'll be asked to send in transcripts. You'll be asked to write a personal statement exploring why you're interested in pharmacy or pursuing that PharmD degree. You'll be asked to put in any experiences you've had in pharmacy, healthcare, or really any extracurriculars. I always tell students make sure that you're including any relevant experience particular to pharmacy and definitely anything that you've been involved in with your undergraduate years and beyond. So you don't necessarily need to include high school extracurriculars unless maybe it was a pharmacy shadowing experience. Then perhaps I would include that even if it was in your high school years. But really anything college and beyond is important to include here. Personal statement, what part of your application do you want admission staff to know that you're not already saying in a different part? So use that personal statement to write about your passion for pharmacy, maybe what led you to realizing it was the right career choice for you. Don't just use it to explain all of your experiences again, because we can already see that in a different part of your application. So you'll apply through PharmCAS, but Ohio State has its own specific requirements. So each institution you apply to may have a different set of requirements. So you want to make sure that you're reading each school's website to see what it is exactly that they require. So Ohio State requires a minimum 2.7 cumulative grade point average at the time of application. So you need to have at least a 2.7 or higher to be considered for admission, and there's no exceptions to that. You're going to be required to have a finished bachelor's degree by the time the program term starts. So you're welcome to apply if your bachelor's degree is in progress, if you're in your senior year of college, but you need to have that bachelor's degree completed by the time the program would actually begin. So if you're applying for autumn 2027, you need to make sure you're finished with that bachelor's degree no later than August of 2027. We also require 3 letters of recommendation. So those letters can come from really a variety of folks. They don't need to come from anyone specifically, but they shouldn't come from a relative. Good options of folks to ask to write you a letter: pharmacists, if you have access, if you've been working in a pharmacy, science professors, professors in your PharmD prerequisite courses, maybe a chemistry professor, statistics professor. Humanities professors are also completely acceptable if you were not a pharmaceutical sciences major, something like that. Employers, current employer, previous employer, volunteer supervisor, maybe a coach of some sort. So these are all good options to write a letter, but we do require 3 at Ohio State, and these need to be in when you apply for your application to be considered completed. Prerequisite courses. So this is our list of prerequisites required for the PharmD program at Ohio State. Again, each program might have a separate list of prerequisites that you apply to, so you want to make sure that you're checking that out as well when you're choosing where to apply. At Ohio State, we require a C- or higher in these classes for it to be considered fulfilled. So maybe you got a D in one of these courses, you're still welcome to apply, but you would need to retake it and earn a C- or higher in order to actually matriculate and start in our program. If they're unfinished, if you've got some of them in progress that you're working through when you apply, that's completely acceptable. They don't all have to be completed when you apply. They just need to be completed when you start the program, much like that bachelor's degree. Grade point averages. So I mentioned we have that minimum 2.7 GPA requirement. The average GPA for incoming class this past year was a 3.46, so that can give you a sense of maybe how competitive it is and where you fall. We definitely recommend that that GPA would be around a 3.0 or higher, just to be on the more competitive side. Similarly, we will look at your science GPA. So this is the GPA of specifically your science courses. So PharmCAS is going to calculate this when you apply. We don't have a minimum requirement, but just to give you a sense of how our students are performing in those prerequisites and science courses, the average science GPA of our incoming class was a 3.19 this past year. So the application process, I've mentioned for autumn 2027, this is our upcoming start term. Those applications open July 9th of 2026. So maybe you're watching this prior to, they're going to open then, maybe they've already opened. So they open in July. So our admission staff will actually start reviewing applications as soon as they come in, which is why we recommend applying as early as possible. We do have a priority deadline of November 1st, so it's a good idea to apply prior to the priority deadline if you're really, really serious about Ohio State, if we're one of your top choices. Just because we start reviewing those applications as soon as they come in, we'll start inviting candidates to interview and we'll start offering admission really when the cycle opens. So it's a good idea to apply prior to priority deadline if you can. But we do have a final deadline of March 1st. So you're welcome to apply anytime between July 9th when those applications open and March 1st when that final deadline passes. This trend is going to be reflected again in autumn 2028. So maybe you're not ready to apply for this upcoming year, but you think maybe a couple of years into the future. So same thing, every year those applications will open middle of July. We'll have that priority deadline in November, and the final is going to be the beginning of March. There is an interview that is required for our PharmD program. So once we review your application, we may invite you to an interview. These interviews are offered in person or virtually, so it's your choice which one you want to schedule, what works for your schedule. We have set interview days predetermined, so you're going to be given, here are the available ones. You get to schedule the one that's best for you. These interview days, they consist of an individual interview with you and 2 PharmD faculty members. It's 40 minutes long, it's traditional style, so it's just an individual interview, it's not a group interview. In addition to that, there will be an overview session that you will be presented with. You'll have the opportunity to interact with current PharmD students on a student panel, and if you come in person, you'll also get a tour of our college. All right, so financial aid and scholarships. So how to fund your PharmD. So we definitely recommend completing the FAFSA application for all of our domestic students to secure loans for the PharmD program. This is definitely important if you're looking for loans, but this is also important for the scholarship process. So we really just recommend everybody completes this, even if you're not sure you're going to be taking any financial aid. You'll apply as an independent for professional school. So you can definitely read up more information about this on our website. There are no grants or work study available for professional students. So unfortunately, we can't offer like teaching assistantships, graduate assistantships, but we do have scholarship opportunities. We have recruitment scholarships that are going to be awarded at the time of admission, and it's not a separate application. So you're going to be assessed for these scholarships as soon as you've applied in PharmCast, which is another reason that we recommend applying as early as possible. These scholarships tend to range from about $5,000, maybe at the low end, to $12,000 per year, and they're renewable. So each year you're in the program, as long as you've remained in good academic standing, this application will continue to renew. So say you receive a $10,000 scholarship, each of the 4 years of the program, you're actually going to be looking at about $40,000 overall. Scholarship Universe is another tool we highly recommend students will utilize. So this is a scholarship matching tool managed by Ohio State. So you'll be asked to log in with your Ohio State credentials, which you'll be receiving once you've applied to the program. Scholarship Universe has a lot of external scholarships loaded in here. So scholarships not specific to the College of Pharmacy, but for Ohio State grad and professional students, and even external to Ohio State. So we definitely recommend applying for additional aid in Scholarship Universe. Generally, Scholarship Universe is open for a set window, so it opens in December of each year, and those deadlines are mid-February. So you may have to wait a bit longer for Scholarship Universe to figure out if you've received a scholarship, but those recruitment scholarships you will be alerted of at your time of admission. All right, so tuition and fees for the upcoming academic year. So if you are not an Ohio resident, in addition to the instructional fee and university fees, there's also that line highlighted in red, the non-Ohio resident surcharge. If you are an Ohio resident, you can ignore that line in red. So looking at the instructional fee, so that first line there at the top, Our tuition is broken down by semesters. So P1, P2, P3 year, you're enrolled just in the autumn and the spring, so that's 2 semesters. P4 year, you're enrolled in the summer as well, so you're looking at 3 semesters, which is why you're going to see this is higher for P4 year. So each semester, this tuition is about a little more than $14,000. So those first 3 years, you're looking at $28,000, $29,000. That 4th year, you're looking at about $43,000. There's also some university fees, so this includes things like your student activity fee, recreational, student union, the Coda bus fee, and a variety of other things that you can see listed out on our website. But these fees are about $500 a semester. And then if you are a non-Ohio resident, so you're not from Ohio, you did not graduate from an Ohio high school, this non-Ohio resident surcharge, again, about $14,000 in your P1 year each semester. So for P1 year, you're looking at $28,000 additional costs. However, something really important to note is after your first year, this non-Ohio resident surcharge reduces dramatically. It drops down to $5 a semester. So you're only paying an additional $10 for that second and third year and $15 for that 4th year. So this is really, really nice, takes the burden off of out-of-state students. Additionally, you don't have to go through the process of applying for Ohio residency to get in-state tuition, because essentially that out-of-state fee is minimal beyond P1 year. We do have a full breakdown of these direct costs as well as some of our indirect costs, so estimates maybe for living expenses, books, supplies, food, that type of thing on our website. So definitely recommend following the QR code and checking that out. All right, this brings me to the end of our presentation. So thank you very much for listening today. I'm very excited that you're considering applying to the PharmD program. You can follow that QR code to schedule a campus visit or a meeting with an admissions professional online or in person if you would like to do so. You can contact our admissions team at that email, cop-admissions@osu.edu, or our phone number is on there as well. Thank you very much for listening today.